Okay, so I've got my two black pieces here. These are going to go on the front. Move these other pieces out of the way. I'm going to sew these to the collar at the shoulder. That's what I'm about to do. Okay, so readjusting my camera here, and I'm sorry if this feels like the Blair Witch Project. I'm trying to make sure the camera is pointed in the direction of what I'm doing at the time. So right now, I'm about to start sewing. And then I'll move my camera so you can get an over shot of what I'm doing. So here I'm going to sew 1/4 inch. And this, like I said, is the shoulder part of the front facing and the collar. And I broke my thread. Don't know why. Thread. And I also broke a needle. Who's sewing up here? I broke 2 needles today. This is weird. I don't really break a needle. So, alright, second shoulder. Like I said, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Back stitch and take off. Back stitch and done. And again, I won't bore you with the super long videos because as it is right now, this video is sitting at 45 minutes. And I'm sure that's 45 minutes of you not wanting to watch me do all this. Especially since I know I can't talk for 45 minutes. So, where I'm at. I forget where I started. I think I started at the top at the center. I'm going to mark my center point on that collar so that I know I can line it up later, because there's also a V notch on the coat that I use to line up that center point. But line up the shoulders, that's pretty easy. Except for I realized I didn't really have any pins. So I'm trying to find the pins. No, I'm sorry. Right here, that's right. So this bit of the shoulder, the material is sewn and the fold is not free for me to sew on that seam allowance. So I have to cut that loose, pop a few stitches so that I will sew the shoulder seam straight. That way I can sew the edge of the jacket to my new facing and collar. So I'm going to put it underneath the sewing machine, sew that maybe 1/2 inch of material. That way everything is tight and lines up like it should. I am super thrilled with how this turned out. Granted, my allergies were kicking my butt because I guess it was just so much dust and dirt on this little guy, and it was just eating me up. And the customer did come by and picked up the same day that I finished this, and she was super excited about it. She was really happy with it, which makes me even more happy. So there's a lot of little things with this coat. So there are the shoulder pads, which were tacked down, and then there were these little short fabric strips that attached some part of like the underarm of the lining to the underarm of the main fabric. So later I had to make sure that I put those back in, because I had to cut them free so that I could flip this jacket wrong side out so that I could get everything to line up and sew neatly and tidy. And I don't know where I disappeared to. I may have had a customer walk in. And again, I do not do appointments. I wish I did. It would probably make things so much easier. I could probably get a whole lot more work done if I worked by appointments only. But I think it's too late in the game for me to change over and not do walk-ins anymore. So here I am, folding the collar in half. That way I can get my white pencil over there and mark seam allowance. Not seam allowance, I'm sorry, the center back. So folding it and drawing it up. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it. I could not see it in my viewfinder. Oh, you can see it. Okay, wonderful. And there's a fly. That guy was wearing me. When the weather is nice, I leave my doors open. And well, I had 3 flies coming today. They were irritating the heck out of me. And then, of course, later I found my fly swatter, which didn't do any good because then I couldn't find them. Maybe they went back outside. I doubt it. That wouldn't be my luck. Okay, so now we are to the point where we can sew this bad boy in. And I was kind of struggling because I couldn't remember, okay, well, which side is which? I didn't want to sew this thing upside down. Which I think at one point, I think I did sew something wrong and I picked something apart. But I might be wrong. I might be thinking different. I don't know. But also about this coat, since the original factory used black thread, when I pulled all this apart, it left one side of the thread still, you know, kind of stuck to the material. So that was a great sewing guide. I knew exactly where I needed to sew. Now, some places I could see the original needle holes. So, I was still able to sew everything and get everything lined up. And I'm tickled at how well I cut these pieces out because there was nothing weird or funky, too long, too short, too wide, or whatever. It was nice. I was happy that I was able to get those pieces apart so that I could use them as a pattern to cut this new fabric with. So like I said, I'm going to go through and I'm going to pin all this. So I'm just going to fast forward through this section so that you don't have to sit here and watch me do all that. But anyway, so on your mark, get set, let's go. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Here we are just zipping along. Yes, I know, I am not supposed to hold straight pins in my mouth because, you know, what if you hiccup or whatever and you follow the darn thing, but that's just what I do. Okay, so here we are. We're to the point that we can start sewing, and I am, like I said, I'm super excited about how well this came together. I believe I started in the center back on the collar of the coat, and even like my points here went together really nice. And we're going to turn 90 degrees. And now we're sewing the long part of the front. And we're going to speed this back up. So 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay, so here we go. We're going to fast forward it. I'll see in that. Pull out my pins. Look at how nice that looks. I'm so excited. I'm going to fold under that way. Yes. And then we're going to start lining stuff up. Pin the other half. We're going to get that part sewed in. Now on this side, I did kind of mess up. On that right angle corner, I did not get the black fabric lined up quite right. So when I sew it and I'm inspecting it and looking at it, I see that there is an opening between the 2 layers. So I picked that apart and redid it, and I got it just fine. I guess it was beginner's luck on the first one, but man, that looks nice. bottom, put a pin in it, throw this in here, because we want to make sure this doesn't move. Yes, I've been sewing for, let's see, my oldest is 17, so 16 years I've been sewing, and I'm sorry, I still use lots of pins, and I also sew over my pins. I apologize. I know we're not supposed to do that, but I do. And if that camera angle would just be a wee bit lower, that would have been great. But I was trying something new this time. I'm actually using my cell phone. I hooked it up to this camera, and I could use it to see what you guys would see. Because otherwise, I'm just shooting in the dark. I don't know what this thing is pointing at, because it doesn't show what I'm looking at in the viewfinder. See, I don't like that. So we're going to pick that little section apart. We're going to fix it. Call it good. But yeah, I wish I would have angled the camera down just a little bit more. I think I get a little bit better. Oh, you know what? This is where I actually, somehow my camera tripod came loose and it almost fell off my sewing machine. So I think that's why it's also kind of moving around. But yeah, so I fixed that little spot right there. I go down a little bit further just because I want to make sure nothing comes loose. And it looks grand. I'm just making sure everything lines up. Trying to figure out where that nail, shoulder pads, they're going to go back like that. And then I have to figure out, okay, so there's that V notch I was talking about. Then I'm going to make that little center back mark with my pencil a little bit brighter so that I can make sure I see it. I had to flip this wrong side out to make sure that I could get it to sew like I needed it to sew. And this section I only did like half this way and then half that way, and a little portion here and a little portion there so that I could get everything. And I had to flip it wrong side out and then right side out, line everything up, flip it wrong side out, and then sew it. That way we make sure everything's neat and tidy. We're good to go. Oh, we're back to normal pace. But see what I'm talking about? You can see the original black line from the thread. So it makes it so easy for me to figure out where I need to start sewing. And I'm so thrilled I didn't sit there and pick all that out, because normally I will pick all that out, and I'm glad I didn't this time. That made a world of a difference. But, okay, so we're going to macho speed this up, so give me just a second. Well, I say that, but now my voice recorder will not pop up. I mean, to pause the recording. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, so back to it. Everything's neat and tidy. Now we're about to do some more sewing. I don't like how fast I have this sped up because, man, I can't tell what is what. Let's back it down just a smidge. Okay, so I don't think I actually pinned because I was like, oh, I got this. I know what I'm doing. And it turned out okay. I was being lazy. I didn't want to do all the pinning. Everything was. I'm just going to line up the edge, and I can see here that I need to sew at ½ an inch, and then it'll end up changing it over to 1/4 of an inch. But this was kind of a pain in the butt because of how I had to twist it inside of itself in order for me to get everything to lay. So right now, this jacket or coat is wrong side out. And at the bottom, I have the hem cut open so that I could sew all this in straight pieces on the facing to match up. And there's a few little puckers in there, but this black material is so forgiving you couldn't even see those black puckers, so it's great. And then I'll have to open it up a little bit so that I can get all this where it needs to be. So slice and dice so that I can get the material to flip right side out, because the hole that I originally had was way too small. Because I want to make sure everything's neat and tidy. I didn't mess something up when I was sewing it. So I'm looking at it and it's looking good. All the way around. Push out my corner there. That looks great. And see, you can see that pocket piece up there. It's still the original fabric. I forgotten to peel all that off, but don't worry, I remembered as I was getting to it. I was like, oh yes, can't move on because I have to remove that. So here I am removing that, or no, I was sewing it back on, that's what it was. I had already removed it. That little strip of fabric that holds the underarm of the material or lining to the outer fabric that's attached to the shoulder pads there. And I don't think I had to cut the other one. I think I was able to work around it. And then I'm going to push my arm through it, make sure everything's nice and tidy, as it is, nothing's funky or twisted. And then we're going to flip this wrong side out so that I can sew the facing to the lining part of the coat. So much fun. It's like playing origami and all that kind of stuff. You just have to twist things around, and I'm gonna line stuff up. Okay, so here's my shoulder, so we're gonna line that up, and then we can just go from there. Like landmark, look for landmarks, because that's the only way that you're gonna get all this lined up and looking good. And I'm gonna line up this edge corner here, put a pin in it. And then we're going to backtrack and put some more pins in. Again, I'm sorry if these videos are too long for your taste. I actually don't mind watching long sewing videos, especially if they're detailed and whatnot. I enjoy that. I mean, again, oh, you know what? I have to pause here because I had a customer walk in. So 2 seconds. Let me fix this. Okay, fixed. Alright, so here we are. Coming back in just a minute. And then here, my seam allowance is 1/4 inch. So again, going over the same thread that works as a guide. And then we have this lovely 90-degree angle here. Hit it, and I didn't quite make it, so I just kind of merge into it. You know, like people should do when you're driving, merging into traffic. Y'all know learn how to do that. Some of y'all are not so great, but ooh, so that's fine. Can't believe I'm just about finished with this jacket. I don't know, I feel like something's not quite right, because the square is, I think I'm missing part of my video. Okay, I don't know why my microphone just cut out, but so next step would be I need to do or remove that pocket thing from the pocket and sew the cuffs and the new pieces to the pocket and then sew up the lining. But that'll be on another video. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you or talk to you next time around. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.